Hey YouTube! Today we're going to be talking about hard drives, and mainly how to connect them to your computer. So, let's start out. There are 4 different types of hard drives that have been made in since about the early 90s, so in the last 25 years-ish. And there's two main different categories. I know you can get into the eco-efficient ones and and different brands and different grades, but the two main categories are, kind of like the size and the connectors. So, going with the size, you have your 2.5-inch drive here, which is your laptop drive. And this goes in the laptop. And you have your 3.5-inch drive, this guy here, which goes into your desktop. Now, the other like I was saying, connectors earlier, if you notice, the connectors on this one are different than the connectors on this one. And this one here is a PATA, so this big, long thing with all the prongs in it is what they call parallel ATA, or PATA for short. And that's how the data is communicated from this particular type of hard drive to the motherboard. And also the computer needs power, so we have this here, what they call the Molex power connector, or kind of the, I guess you could call nickname, is the PATA connector, PATA power connector. So that's how you power the drive. And going off here, your same thing, here's your SATA power connector, and there's your SATA connection where the data is transferred. So there's two connections and there's 2 wires. So let's start with the ribbon band, or basically the SATA, in this case the SATA wire. So this wire is what connects the hard drive to the motherboard, so the data can be transferred to and from the hard drive to the computer. And if you notice, there's a notch. There's a hole with a little notch in it, and there's a little bar with a notch in it, as you notice. And what you basically do, simply enough, take the notch, and if I can do this one-handedly, plug it in, and there you go. So now you have data connection. It's the same with the power connectors. If you look, you have your hole with the notch. You have your bar with the notch. And if we line that up, it's hard to do one-handedly. And there you go. Now, that's how you plug in a SATA drive. So we're going to put this aside. And now we're going to talk about PATAs. So if we kind of look at it, we were talking earlier about your IDE, it's PATA also, sometimes it's referred to as IDE. So your PATA, and if you look, it's kind of hard to see, but right about where if I can get that into focus, there we go. There's a little notch right about there, about where my finger is. And if you, I don't actually have them. Hold on, give me a second because I gotta find one with a notch. Alright, so this is a floppy cable, but you can see it's a little bit smaller, but basically it's the same thing, just a little bit big, just the cable's a little bit bigger. And you can see there's a notch, and that notch would go into there. But, fun enough, there is no notch. Good. Okay, so in the magical olden days, before there was the notches, there's this red, or sometimes pink, band here, and that's what you would use to connect it, and that pink band always meant pin 1, and it would normally be on your left. So, I know it's hard. Let me see if I can bring this into light. Maybe not. But you just basically line up your pins. Now this one's a bit harder to do one-handedly. And push that in. And there we go. You got your First, you got your data connection in here, and the Molex. Now, sometimes you'll see them in black, sometimes you'll see them in white, but what you need to do is look for the... I don't know if I can get this in focus. There we go. So there's a side... Come on, come in focus. So as you can see, there's a flat side and there's a side that's rounded. The rounded side is normally on the top, and if you look at the drive, you can see there's a flat and a rounded side. So simply enough, match the flat and the rounded. Plug it in. I know it's kind of hard because you really have to push with some of them. And there you go. You have now hooked up a hard drive. So if we were to turn on the computer, it would start and load. So there we go. Bye.